for different intersectional feminism to exist?
I think the first thing is it's the ideology around patriarchy that is indoctrinated in men that they're superior. I think that's the education linkage that I want to link to what Ngamane was talking about. That education is key to the transformation of a mindset and to a transformation of the development of, so that we can coexist. Because once you have men who understand that there's no other gender that is a threat to them, they'll be able to realize that we can coexist. But what we are having now is that the power over that men portray and power within, that they even create fear within us, at the end gives them the whole power that they own us. And I think we're talking about agency here. Who owns their bodies, for instance? Who owns my mind? And if that is owned by my male counterpart, it basically means there's very minimal growth for me to be able to coexist, because my limitations will be granted by the male party. Yeah. So in that context of thinking, I believe that over the years there's been clear demonstration that there's no way that gender inequality should continue and persist in our communities that we live. We're looking at equality issues on equity also to add it there, not just gender equality, but gender equality and equity, because the equity gives us as women the equal opportunity. Ngamane and myself might be sitting here in the studio and we're probably commissioned to come and speak to you, and then back in or maybe it still exists, he might get a bigger stipend than what I am getting, exactly. But we're doing the same thing. Job, yeah. By default of him being a man, he's perceived as being better, and that is the tone and language that should change, because at the end of the day, I will never grow and be able to be economically stable, because right now, if you look at the liberation struggle of where we are coming from as Namibia, the struggle was about independence. The struggle was about the autonomy and sovereignty of our country, and then building the well-being of our citizens. But what has become over the years is that it's within that building and transformation of development, a welfare system has become the norm in order to create a dependency. And that is why if you look at South Africa, that dependency syndrome out of the social welfare system has brought out a lot of toy-toyings, and there's a lot, because a lot of people are looking for agency. Don't give me welfare, give me a proper living standard that I can be free to be able to maneuver and build my own life. And that is where we are with men in terms of this feminist world, to actually say, man, the time has come for you to realize that we are equal in the space that we can actually be able to do things collectively to strengthen the development of our own homes and the societies that we live in, and broadly a nation, to make our country a better world to live in, and for the future of our kids. So I look at it in the spectrum that it is a man needs to change themselves. It is the way they look at themselves, and I think it's cross-cutting for women too. The way you look at yourself and the way you have personal respect is the only way you are able to exert that to somebody else. Because having a condescending behavior towards women is an evident reflection of who you are and how you treat your own women in your life. And that's how I see it. I'm not sure how Ngamane will take it in terms of how men can change a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, because like in terms that people understand, we had and we still have what we call racial apartheid, which was between black and white.
And now
well, you can take the white and black away, but the environment is pretty much the same when it comes to men and women. So as much as we say there is a racial apartheid, there is also gender apartheid.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, but I don't understand this whole thing of gender, I ask them then, okay, since we are still in the struggle days, I don't know when they're going to end, you can take a good look at, apartheid.
Yeah.
The same things that we as blacks were saying is wrong with whites seeing themselves as superior to us. It's very much the same kind of a thing, whereas women are saying, no, men, you are not superior to us.
This makes me think about black privilege.
Yeah.
So this is a discussion that black people don't want to take in, because there is black privilege and there's black classism. and we don't want to talk about it. And the fact is, and that is what
I think
initially.
I'm hearing for the first time black privilege. Now I'm like, okay, what is black privilege?
Black privilege is let's make a practical example. You find a man. Look, we're coming from independence. I want to pick up where Gamana has left because it will be giving a good flow. Apartheid, black and white, black people took over.
Yeah.
What are black people doing? They're oppressing other black people. That's damn black. I'm sorry. That's black. It's the radical activist that comes out of me. Yeah, it's getting agitated because it freaks me out to see our country and our people forgetting where we are coming from. And that with that black privilege, there comes the whole black class issue. And then in the end of the day, the black privilege even fights the other black, and that is how the Basters and the Coloureds and all the other black communities are not regarded. You must be really dark to really be classified as black. That is why the notion of yellow bone is around, which I feel it's a direct insult to where the struggle is that we are coming from of apartheid. Because back in the days in apartheid, you are either black or you are white. Even if you are yellow bone, you are at the black section.
On the black side, yeah.
If the comb doesn't go through your hair, you are black. But now you have this situation where if you are yellow bone, you feel that I'm a standard up than the black, because it's the same in Cape Town.
So
the Cape Flats are like that. Yeah, the Cape Flat people have always been like that. But they're black people, but they don't see themselves as black.
Identified.
Yeah.
Okay. And those are some of the challenges that we have to look at in terms of the definition that you have in your soul as to who you are and where you belong. As long as we are boxed in because of different ideologies and so on, because of religion, because of culture, because of historical aspects, that you cannot be freely who you are, who you want to be, or associate yourself with humanity in whichever way that suits you and works for you, as long as somebody is saying there are boundaries and there are blockages and limits to who, we will have this turmoil going on. The whole thing of discrimination, prejudice, being judgmental about where you are, who you are, and where you belong. Oh no, it's even, we were talking about this whole thing of, in the black privilege, one of the main things that stand out is our obligation to respect elders. Which means what? No, we can't question them. Because when you question elders, just to say, wait a minute, how do we level the playing field? How do we make sure that resources are apportioned proper for all? Oh, no, you cannot. Because that is like insulting.
And not just jumping in and cutting you off, but speaking about that, I know, for example, also in, people talk about as a woman, you're not supposed to be angry, or as a woman, you shouldn't approach this when you shouldn't use these words. And I remember once I was posting on something, and somebody was like, no, you can't. As a feminist organization, you cannot use such language. Because it was a picture that said boys will be boys, but the final boys was cut out, and it was will be held fucking accountable for their actions. And people were like, no, how can you as an organization use such words? And people were going on, and I remember one person saying that in the politics of change, we cannot play apologetics. Like, we cannot be sorry. Like, this is a time when we are angry, and also angry with reason, because we are angry with reason. I remember walking down the street not so long ago, and 3 guys harassing one lady. And eventually, I stood up and I was like, do you know that you're actually making it uncomfortable? And one of the guys was like, yeah, I know, but I'm not saying anything. And I'm just saying that we have to speak out about certain things. And when we say, don't do this out loud, we're like, hey, you're a woman. And it's then that they realize that you're a woman. Why are you so angry? But we have like a history of reasons to be angry. And as she was saying, talking about history and understanding it, I know there's a lot of women sometimes that identify and say that I'm not a feminist, because they believe that feminism is about hating, and feminism is about women who are like, trying to take over and trying to take control. And we're like really, and it always breaks my heart, because I'm thinking, for me to be able to sit here and even have a voice in the public, for me to be able to get up and even question my president about certain things when I have an opportunity, tells me that women came from the suffragette movement, for example. They came fighting for me to be able to have a voice. They came fighting for me to have a voice. They went on hunger strikes. So many things has happened for me as a woman to be privileged today. And I really just wanted to talk about, because I know I like your stance on toxic masculinity. And I kind of want you to tell us a little bit about how is toxic masculinity dangerous, especially towards men?